Okay, so Spirit has been telling me for probably the past few days about the whole atoms thing, about how when we're broken down to our basic building blocks, it's all the same, and how everything like the triad, the Trinity, uh, it's like broken up in a way so that we can look at all of our possibilities to hone in on what it is we really want to do to express or experience something. But in all reality, we all have our own unique way of expressing the different varieties and the way you arrange these atoms. So they were also, hold on a minute, shut the window here. So they brought up a very interesting thing that I hadn't really thought about, because I try to think of like all the things that we fear possibly as a whole, and cannibalism, I'm not sure if that's like a fear, but it's sort of something that we freak out about. And Spirit tells me that everything that we are dealing with, or that is depicted or felt like a total taboo, they tell me that you got to try looking at it differently, because it's just a mindset. In the same way that you can look at pretty much any word and find anything you want out of it. Like, let me give you an example. Santa Claus. Okay, Santa Claus is one example of like Santa. Okay, we interpret that as being very positive on a like a grand scale, to be general. But you can arrange those letters to mean absolutely anything. I mean, you can even arrange Santa to look like Satan. So it's like, it doesn't really matter what the arrangement is. It's what you put on that, what you focus on out of that, like how it makes you feel. And it's like it's not about the label. It's however you interpret it. So they were talking about cannibalism, and they said, how can it possibly be cannibalism? Because you are simply ingesting. Like, it doesn't matter what you're eating, because it's all, when you strip everything to its basic foundational building blocks, it is all the same things. The only reason why, well, I don't know everyone's reason, but because they're arranged different to look different, or I mean, it's all the same stuff. So there is like pretty much no such thing as cannibalism when you break down absolutely everything to its basic particle. You realize that you're just ingesting more life force. And it's not to say you can't choose what you like to eat and what you don't like to eat. I mean, I'm not saying that one thing is wrong or right. What I'm saying is that that's a very interesting way to look at it. And I had kind of thought about it, but I felt like I was sort of leading up to understanding this more. And I thought that was really cool. They said what's important is that regardless of the arrangement, is like knowing the fact that loving it, accepting it and loving it no matter what it is, because it's really just the building blocks of you. And they were talking about, because I was kind of like questioning it, because of course I love to question pretty much everything, because it's fun to go in the unknown, the darkest and scariest things that we can possibly think of, and look at it differently. And they were talking about, or I'm sorry, I said, I don't know, I think I pictured like an animal eating its own feces or something. I think I pictured that. And they were like, now why would you picture that? And I'm like, well, I mean, are all things good to eat? And it's like, even though in my brain I understand what they're saying, it's like when you've been taught something for so long, it's really hard to be like, oh yeah, like of course it makes sense, but you know what I mean? It's hard to accept. But they said, you see things as a byproduct. Like, you know, you put this in, you get this out, and that's bad now. And they're like, you know, it's not, it's how you are interpreting it, because you were told that. They were like, there is nothing unclean, because it all is just moving around, and it's how we decide to interpret what those arrangements look like based on what we know from the past. And it's like this cycle, you know? It's this apparent cycle that's in absolutely everything, and yet we somehow single out something being good and something being not good. And I'm not saying we should all eat our own byproduct. What I'm saying is that the concept is very interesting. And it's like you see a lot of animals in the wild, and they eat their own byproduct, and it's like it's a part of their life. Like, they don't think about it, maybe because they see things different. Maybe their vision's totally different. I don't know. I'm not really sure exactly all of that, but I thought the concept was spot on when it comes to, like, I mean, it makes sense, you know. I think it's about accepting what it is and not being like, oh, that's bad. I mean, it is what it is. You filter it enough and it's going to be fine. But in all actuality, it's really what we think about it. I mean, an eclair, right? Or an eclair. Yeah, an eclair. An eclair can look like a hot dog. It can look like a cannoli. I mean, there's so many things that you could call it, but the name don't matter. It matters if you like it or if you don't like it. I think that's really cool. That was a really cool concept. And then also, they went further into the atoms thing. I like that they break it down by saying, like, you know, it's more affirmation that everything is all the same stuff. But you got to respect all of the organization, or in the way in which it likes to arrange itself, to express itself. You know, it should be free to express itself without feeling judged, I guess. Okay. They were also talking about death, because that's a pretty big one. At least the way, you know, maybe these are just my deepest, darkest, well, it's more like mystery. It's like a mystery, you know? So they were talking about the whole dying concept, and they were like, you know, what you experience is your own perception of possibilities of what it could be, or what you experienced in past lives. So they said, what do you think that person is actually experiencing, the person that is dying, or the way you perceive dying? And I was like, well, I don't know. It's probably really this, and it's probably really that. And they're like, those are your possibilities of what you think it might be. But they said, in all actuality, you know, maybe the plane of existence that we are on right now, in this vibration, is like humming to where we're all, you know, on this plane. So we see the people that are on this plane as dying. But really what might be happening is they're just starting to vibrate at a different level, and they're sort of either, I don't want to say disappearing, it's more like you are not humming at that vibration to be able to pick up on that. So to you, since you've been told, or since past lives have shown or told you, movies, you know, whatever, it's like your own projected theory of what it is like. And they said that in all actuality, maybe that's how you picture it actually happening. They said, but if you open your mind up to the possibilities of it being something else, you might find that you'll see it being totally different, because that person could be vibrating at a frequency now where they thought you were dying. You know what I mean? Like, when things just start to move differently, you see it as however you want to see it. But in all reality, maybe it's just fluctuating, and this is how you perceive it. I mean, they've also been telling me about honing in on your possibility, on who you are and what you want. And they were talking about figuring out what you resonate the most with. Because when it's all said and done, you know, it's what do you absolutely love? And they said you can't. I feel like I totally jumped in topic. I think I'm just going to stop right there because I feel like I'm going into a totally different topic now. So, I think that's all I had for that. Okay, I'm going to read what they actually had me write down. It says, atoms don't have to look like they're dying. We don't have to look at it like we are consuming separate atoms. Earth as an atom, if you look at it, you know, small, big, medium. Earth as an atom, and us burying people, so kind of what that is Earth atom consuming other atoms. If they are all atoms from different perspectives, then when someone looks like they are dying, it is actually us focusing on one possibility. That is one of all possibility. To be able to see the movement and process from all possibilities, we see that it is all nature and all atoms like possessive, atoms possibilities popping in and out of our consciousness or out of our conscious perception. Focusing on all possibility in love with the beautiful mystery of the grand design which we are blessed and entirely a part of. Everything you experience is a possibility. What you feel. Okay, yeah. I think that's about all I have for now. Basically, it's kind of like whatever you see, whatever you experience, you got to find a love in it. Because it doesn't have to be uncomfortable or scary. That's one possibility of what it could feel like or be. But when you open your mind up to what it could be, it opens up imagination. And it opens up your heart to accept that you don't have to settle for this one possibility of what it is. So I guess that's the main message. Thank you for watching.